Welcome to the lecture series on linear maps. It is the second lecture in this series. The first class we introduced the definition of a linear maps and given some examples of linear maps. Finally, a theorem is proved which says that let V and W are two vector spaces such that V1, V2, etc. Vn are basis vectors in the vector space capital V. Then W1, W2, etc. Wn are arbitrary vectors in the vector space W. Then there exists a unique linear map capital T, we can call it as a capital T from V to W such that T of Vj equal to Wj. This kind of linear map is unique. Okay. Today, first we introduce the space L of Vw, which is a vector space. We will prove that. Next, and secondly, actually the multiplication makes no sense of two vectors in a vector space, but for some pair of linear maps a useful product exists. Okay, so that we will deal. Finally, we introduce the null space and give some examples. Finally, one or two theorems related to null space. Okay, this is the idea. So once again, welcome to the lecture on linear maps, second lecture. Algebraic operations on L of Vw. Actually, L of Vw means set of all linear transformations or linear maps from V to W. Okay, so clearly it is a set. LVW is a set. So we are going to introduce two operations on this set LVW. The addition and scalar multiplication can be defined on the set LVW. Suppose ST are elements of LVW and lambda is a scalar. Okay, the sum S plus T. Okay, the sum S plus T and the product lambda T. Actually, the product is scalar product. Are the linear maps from V to W defined by S plus T of V equal to SV plus TV and lambda T of V equal to lambda into TV for all V element of V. In this way, we can define addition and scalar multiplication on the space L of V comma W. Okay. So first, we have to check S plus T is a map from V to W, and secondly we have to prove that this S plus T is a linear map from V to W. Okay. Similarly, the defined scalar product lambda T is a map from V to W, and second we have to show that this lambda T is a linear map. Okay. So S plus T and lambda T as defined above are indeed linear maps. Okay, they say that. In other words, if ST element of LVW and lambda element of F, then S plus T and lambda T element of LVW. Actually, we have to verify these things. First, we have to check this S plus T and lambda T. Both of them are mapped from V to W. Okay. By definition, S plus T of V equal to SV plus TV. So the S plus T takes the vectors V from capital V. So domain is clearly capital V, and it maps into SV plus TV. Since S and T are linear maps, both SV and TV are elements in capital W. Okay, capital W. Since W is a vector space, so addition is closed. So definitely SV plus TV is an element in W. So clearly S plus T is a map from V to W. Similarly, lambda T is a map from V to W because lambda T is defined by lambda T of V equal to lambda into TV. This is a working group. So here lambda T takes vectors small v from capital V and it maps into lambda into TV. Actually, since T is a linear map, this TV is an element in capital W. Since W is a vector space, scalar multiplication is closed. So lambda into TV is definitely an element in W. So we have proved that or shown that both S plus T and lambda T are mapped from V to W. Okay, this is clear. The important thing is that we have to show that this S plus T is also a linear map from V to W, and similarly lambda T is also a linear map from V to W. Okay, that's very important. We have to prove. I will prove only one thing, that means S plus T is a linear map. Similarly, you can check that lambda T is a linear map from V to W. Okay, so I have to show that S plus T is a linear map. For that, we have to show that S plus T of V1 plus V2 equal to S plus T of V1 plus S plus T of V2. Okay, second, we have to show that scalar multiplication of homogeneity property, S plus T of lambda V equal to lambda into S plus T of V. Okay, if I can prove these two things, we can say that S plus T is a linear map, because it is a definition of a linear map. S plus T of V1 plus V2, S plus T of V1 plus V2, by definition it is equal to S of V1 plus V2 plus T of V1 plus V2 by definition. Since S is a linear map and T is a linear map, S of V1 plus V2 equal to SV1 plus SV2 and T of V1 plus V2 equal to TV1 plus TV2. After rearrangement, we can write like S of V1 plus T1 and S of V2 plus TV2. Because S and T are linear map, this is equal to SV1 plus SV2. Since T is a linear map, it is equal to TV1 plus TV2. So commutativity preserves in capital A, so we can rearrange this term like this. Okay, it is equal to, by definition, S plus T of V1 plus S plus T of V2. So we have proved the first thing. Next, we have to show that the homogeneity property, that is S plus T of lambda V equal to lambda of S plus T of V. Next, S plus T of lambda V by definition, which is equal to S of lambda V plus T of lambda V. Since S is a linear map, the homogeneity property is valid. So this is equal to lambda into SV. Since T is also linear, it is equal to lambda of TV. We can take lambda outside, then it is equal to SV plus TV. Again applying definition, it is equal to S plus T of V. So we get S plus T of lambda V equal to lambda into S plus T of V. So homogeneity property is verified. Hence, we have proved that S plus T is an element of LVW whenever both S and T are element in LVW. Similarly, you can verify that lambda T is an element of LVW. Okay, for that you have to check two things. Lambda T of V1 plus V2 equal to lambda T of V1 plus lambda T of V2. Second, scalar multiplication, lambda 2. For a change, I take the scalar A of V equal to A into lambda T of V. Okay, otherwise same lambda make confusion. Okay, here lambda T is a linear map. Okay, so I take A as the scalar. Okay, if we can show these two things, we can say that lambda T is an element in LVW. That you can verify. That's very easy. Okay, so now we have introduced two operations addition and scalar multiplication on the space LVW. Next we can prove that this LV comma L of V comma W is a vector space using the above defined addition and scalar multiplication. That's very easy. So you have to check addition as commutative and it will be associative. There exists additive identity, zero vector, zero element, and for every vector there is a unique inverse. Okay, for multiplication, if you multiply with the scalar 1 t equal to t, and distributive property, okay, you have to check. I will give how to verify, okay, that this is a vector space. For example, let's say that zero map is the additive identity. Okay, to prove that LVW is a vector space, we have to show that there exists a zero element. They say that zero map is the zero element. That's very easy. For that you have to show that t plus 0 equal to 0 plus t equal to t. Okay, if we can show this equation or this thing, then we can say that 0 is the zero map act as an additive entry. Okay, to prove t plus 0 equal to t, it is enough to show that t plus 0 of v equal to tv for every vector v in capital V. That's very easy to verify, because by definition t plus 0 of v equal to tv plus 0v. Here 0 is a zero map, so zero map means it will map every vector into 0. So tv plus 0. Okay, tv plus 0. Okay, tv and 0 is vectors in capital W. 0 means 0 vector in capital W. So hence it will equal to tv. So we have verified that t plus 0 of equal to tv for every v element of v. Hence we can say that t plus 0 equal to t. Similarly 0 plus t equal to t, because 0 plus t of v equal to, by definition, 0v plus tv. 0 transformation takes every vector into 0, so it will equal to 0 plus tv. Here tv is a vector in W. This 0 denotes the 0 vector in W, so hence it will equal to tv. So we get 0 plus t of v equal to tv for every v. Hence 0 plus t equal to t. Similarly, we can easily verify that addition is commutative. Okay. For that you have to prove that t plus s equal to s plus t for every transformation. The verification is very easy, because t plus s of v equal to, by definition, it is equal to tv plus sv. Both tv and sv are elements in capital W. W is a vector space, so their addition is commutative. Hence it will equal to sv plus tv. Again applying definition, we get write it as s plus t of v. Hence we get t plus s of v equal to s plus t of v for every vector, which means addition is commutative. Similarly, you can verify addition is associative. For every transformation there exists a inverse transformation, actually corresponding to t element of L of VW minus t is the inverse transformation. Okay, that's very easy to verify. Okay, and finally you have to verify idea related to scalar multiplication, that is 1 t equal to t for every transformation, and distributive property. Okay, that's very easy. Next we move into the idea of multiplication in vector space. Usually it makes no sense to multiply to the two elements of a vector space, but for some pair of linear maps a useful product exists. Okay, so which means we can define multiplication in a vector space in case of linear maps. For that we need another vector space. Okay, so for the rest of the section, suppose U, capital U is also a vector space over F. Previously we used capital V and W as a notation for vector space. Now you also include capital U as a vector space. Okay. Next, definition of a product of linear map. Suppose T is a linear map from U to V and S is a linear map from V to W. Okay, so T U from V, T is a linear map from U to V and S is a linear map from V to W. Okay, then ST is a linear map from U to W, that's defined by ST of U equal to S into TU for U element of U. Actually, the definition is equal to the composition. Okay, but when the function are linear, we write ST only instead of S composition T. Okay, here we have to show that ST is a map from U to W and also this defined ST is a linear map from U to W. Okay, from definition it is clear that ST is a map from U to W because it is defined as S of TU. The U is taken from the vector space capital U. When computing TU, the element will lie in V. Okay, TU is an element in V, but again applying S. Okay, then S takes the vector TU into W. So clearly ST is a map from U to W. Next we have to prove that this defined ST is a linear map. For that we have to show that ST of U1 plus U2 equal to ST of U1 plus ST of U2 and finally ST of lambda U equal to lambda of ST of U. Okay, that's very easy. I will prove the first one only. S plus T of U1 plus U2. Okay, S plus T of U1 plus U2 by definition, ST of U1 plus U2. ST of U1 plus U2 by definition it is equal to S of T of U1 plus U2. Okay, since T is a linear map, it is equal to TU1 plus TU2. Consider TU1, TU2 are two vectors only. Here S is a linear map, hence it is equal to S of TU1 plus S of TU2. Okay, again applying the definition which is equal to ST of U1 plus ST of U2. So we have verified the first. Similarly, you can verify the second homogeneity property, that is ST of lambda U equal to lambda into ST of U. Okay, so actually, so conclusion is that if T is a linear map from U to V, S is a linear map from V to W, then the product ST, actually the product is a composition, ST is a linear map from U to W. Okay, next here going to give some idea about the algebraic properties of product of linear maps. The product satisfies the associativity. Associativity means T1 T2 of T3 equal to T1 of T2 T3. The ideal condition is that whenever T1 T2 T3 are linear maps such that the product makes sense. Product makes sense means T3 maps into the domain of T2, T2 maps into the domain of T1. Okay, otherwise we cannot define the product. Okay, so definitely T3 will map into the domain of T2, T2 should map into the domain of T1. And second property is that Ti equal to It equal to T. Whenever T is a linear map from LVW, is an element of LVW, here the first I is the identity map on V and the second I is the identity map on W, because otherwise we cannot define the product. See, in the first case, the first I is the identity map on V. So I is a map from V to V. Okay. Then we apply T. T should be a map from V to W. Okay. So I is a map from V to V, T is a map from. Then only we can define TA. Otherwise we cannot define. So definitely the I should be a map from V to V. In the second case, IT. Okay. This IT. In this case of IT, the I should be identity map on W, because otherwise we cannot define the multiplication, because see, T is a map from V to W. T is a map from V to W. So T takes elements from V to W. Then only we apply I. So I should be an identity map from W to W. Okay. So the both I's are different, because the first one is a linear map, identity map on V, and the second I is an identity map on W. Okay. Another property is distributive property, which means S1 plus S2 of T equal to S1T plus S2T, and S of T1 plus T2 equal to S of T1 plus T2 equal to ST1 plus ST2 whenever T1, T2 element of LUV and S1, S2 element of LVW. Okay, otherwise we cannot define multiplication. So this condition is very important. Okay, because here in case of action, first we act T. Okay, so T is a map from U to V. Okay, then we apply S1 or S2, S1 plus S2. Okay, S1 plus S2 should be a map from V to W. Okay, okay, then only we can define S1 plus S2 of T. Okay, otherwise we cannot define multiplication. So when you define multiplication, the important thing is that the image of first acting linear map should be lie on the domain of the second acting linear map. Okay, here T is the first acting linear map. Okay, so image of the T should be lie on the domain of S1 plus S2. Okay, and then we are going to prove that multiplication of linear map is not commutative. Okay, in other words, it is not necessarily true that ST equal to TS even if both sides of the equation makes sense. Okay, I will give one example. Suppose D is a linear map from PR to PR. It's a differentiation linear map, and T is a map from PR to PR is a multiplication by x square, multiplication by x square. Okay, so compute TD. Okay, TD of PX. Here first D is acting on Px, then it will equal to P dash x. T of P dash x means multiply by x square, so this is equal to x square into P dash x. Okay, and compute dt of Px. Okay, here T is acting first, so it is equal to x square into Px. Now apply D. D means differentiation operator. So here we have to apply the product rule. Then it is equal to x square into p dash x plus 2x into px. So it's not equal. So TD not equal to DT. Hence we can say that even though multiplication is defined making sense, it is need not be true that multiplication is commutative. Okay. Finally, we are moved to the idea of null space. Actually, linear maps, every linear maps takes 0 vector into the 0 vector. For example, T is a linear map from V to W. So since V and W are vector spaces, both V and W contain 0 vectors. All linear maps takes the 0 vector in V into the 0 vector in W. Because by additivity, T of 0 equal to 0 plus 0, because 0 is the additive identity. So 0 can be written as 0 plus 0. By applying the idea of T is a linear additive property, this is equal to T0 plus T0. Okay. So we get T of 0 equal to T of 0 plus T of 0. This T of 0 is an element in W. Okay. W is a vector space. So every element have additive inverse. So adding additive inverse of T0 on both sides. Okay. So after adding additive inverse of T0 on both sides, we get 0 equal to T0, because one T0 will cancel out after applying the additive inverse. So finally we get 0 equal to T0. Okay. Next, we are going to discuss about two important subspace that is very important to linear maps. The first one is null space. Okay. For T element of LVW, the null space of T denoted by null of T is a subset of V consisting of those vectors that T maps to 0. Means that in the previous result we shown that every linear maps take 0 vector into 0 vector. The question is there exist any other vector in V which maps into 0? Okay, the collection of all such vectors maps into 0 vector in W is known as null space. Okay, I will give one or two examples. The first one is the T is a 0 map from V to W. So 0 map, T is a linear map from V to W. So definitely every vector in V mapped into 0 vector in W. Hence null space of T will equal to capital V. Okay. And second example is that phi is a map from Z3 to F defined by phi of Z1, Z2, Z3 equal to Z1 plus 2, Z2 plus 3, Z3. So null space of phi equal to set of all elements in C3 such that Z1 plus 2, Z2 plus 3, Z3 equal to 0. Okay, sorry. Actually here equal to 0. If you try to compute the basis of null space, it will equal to minus 210, minus 301. That's very easy to verify, because Z1 plus 2, Z2 plus 3, Z3 equal to 0 implies Z1 equal to minus 2, Z2 minus Z3. Here Z2 and Z3 are independent variables or free variables. If I assign Z2 equal to 1 and Z3 equal to 0, then we get minus 2, 1, 0. Okay, and next if I assign Z2 equal to 0 and Z3 equal to 1, then we get it is equal to minus 3, 0, 1. Okay, and another example is suppose differentiation map. Okay, PR from PR. Find the null space. Okay, differentiation map is defined by dP equal to P dash. Find the vectors which maps into 0. definitely all the constant functions, all the constant polynomials will map into 0, because when taking the derivative of a constant function it is equal to 0. So null space contains set of all constant functions. Okay, so we give the idea of null space and some examples. I hope that all the things we covered is very easy, and you got the idea very well. So due to time limit, I shift to some ideas that I plan to discuss in the lecture will cover in the third lecture. Okay, thank you.